Meditation. Some people swear by it. They think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Whereas other people think it's an absolute waste of time. And of course, there are other people who would love to meditate, have it in their daily routine, but they, for some reason, believe that they either can't do it or they don't have the time for it. So I just want to address this whole issue of meditation. Now, obviously you've probably seen a lot of videos, read a lot of blogs, and probably heard some podcasts about meditation, how to do it, how it can benefit you and everything else. So I don't want to go over everything too much, all the obvious stuff and things that other people have repeated over and over again, but I do want to just touch on it just in case somebody watching this hasn't actually been through that or listened to it, heard it, seen it, what have you. So what is meditation, first of all? It's a state of bringing your mind into a quiet, still state, a tranquil state, and through that there's a lot of benefits to it, basically. I mean, not just mentally but also physically and spiritually, and I think it's the physical aspects, the physical benefits that a lot of people tend to gloss over. If you're fairly new to meditation or you haven't done it before and you would like to, and you've been researching it quite a bit, what a lot of people coming to meditation in the beginning tend to think is that meditation is purely just sitting quietly and being still. But there is a bit more to it, and mostly in the breath work that you do. Breathing is extremely important, and there are a lot of other advanced exercises for breath techniques. You can even go into things like pranayama and things like that, but you don't need to get into the more advanced stuff. You can use some simple breathing techniques, but it's breathing that aids the meditation and really brings it to a point where it is really benefiting you. I think one of the other aspects I want to actually bring into this video was how it benefits and helps the business owner, because obviously my channel and my content is about the entrepreneur and bringing in a more spiritual side and trying to create that balance in life and within the life of a business person, a business owner. So how can it benefit a business owner? Let's just have a look at that quickly. First of all, you'll find that you're more productive during the day. Through that productivity, and you're not procrastinating as much and you're thinking a lot clearer, you work a lot quicker, things get done a lot quicker and a lot easier. And when you get to the end of the day, you can look back and you actually feel like you have actually accomplished things. And this makes productivity a lot better for the business owner. As I say, you can get through things easier, quicker, and therefore you have more time. You can go on to other projects that you've been trying to get to, because you do have more time to actually get to them now. So from that perspective, that's more of a mental perspective, how it affects the mind and how it affects clarity of thought, and things like that. But there's also the physical aspect, which is very important. Obviously, everybody's stressed nowadays. Well, most people, and stress has been a huge problem for a very long time. And the problem is that the more stress you have in your life, the less sleep or the quality of sleep decreases. And when the quality of sleep decreases, you become more stressed, and so the whole thing snowballs and it gets repeated, and life just gets you down in the end of the day. So there's a whole aspect of decreasing stress and anxiety, but it's more than that. through that, it also decreases or reduces your high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure problems, but it reduces blood pressure, it decreases it. So if you do have high blood pressure, like I do, then it actually helps with your high blood pressure, and that then also helps your heart, because the high blood pressure puts a lot of pressure on your heart, and subsequently it then helps your heart, and your heart controls a lot of things. You'll often find that if you have some kind of disease or illness, it's often due to the heart or the gut. So if you have a healthy heart, a well-beating heart, then you'll find that a lot of stress, a lot of illnesses, a lot of disease, they tend to get a lot better and go away. Obviously, also look at your gut, because your gut causes a lot of disease and illness. Now, so these are the obvious things that help the everyday person, but also the business owner. So find the time, and you only need 5 minutes a day to actually do this. And everybody's got 5 minutes a day. And if it actually helps you to create more time in your day, then why not do it? Why not at least try it? I think that's the key. Just try it. Give it a try. Give it a period of time, maybe a month, where you're actually practicing and you're doing it, and see if it helps you. Find out how it actually benefits you, and it just brings everything together and brings that balance back into your life. So you're not so stressed. You've got more time. You're being more productive, and that's what you need as a business owner. So just give it a try. There's no harm in trying. You would have lost nothing at the end of the day. Trust me, you would have gained a lot. And if you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, I do want to incorporate it into my daily routine, but I just don't have the time yet, and I'm just want to get over this little hump here, and then I'll start doing it. Don't, because a year goes by and then you look back and you think, I could have been so much more productive. I could have done so much more in that past year. So just tomorrow morning, take 5 minutes. Even if it means just setting your alarm for 5 minutes earlier, and just give it a try and see how it feels. Now, I will say one thing: when you start a meditation practice, you'll probably find the first day you do it, it's fantastic. It's like, this just changed your entire world. You get results immediately like this. But then what happens is, the second and the third and the fourth day, all of a sudden you don't get the same results. And it's usually because you're expecting those results. On the first day, you kind of think think you know what to expect, but it's often very different to what you thought it might be. So then once you've experienced it, then the second day you expect it to happen again, and through that expectation you kind of block yourself off. So each day just try and enter it and see it as something completely new. Every day is just something you haven't done before, and don't have any expectations. And if nothing happens, if you don't feel any different, then don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Just do it the next day again, and continue from from there on. And also, what's a good idea is to just keep a journal and just note down anything you feel, any differences you find in your day, your day-to-day activities. If you did find that you're procrastinating less and you are actually being more productive, note it down. Note everything down, because then at the end of the week, end of 2 weeks, end of the month, have a look back and see if it has actually helped. Because going from day to day to day, you tend not to notice the small shifts that happen. But if you get to the end of the month and you start reading from the beginning of the month what happened, then you do notice the differences that it's made. So try and keep a journal, just little small notes. Had a good day today, better than it's been in a while, whatever it might be, just tiny little bullet points. Okay, so meditation itself is about being still, being mindful, bringing yourself into a tranquil space, bringing your brainwaves into a theta brainwave or a delta brainwave. Everybody's talking about it and what it does and how your brain changes and all your brainwaves change. You go from an alpha or beta down to a theta and a delta and all this stuff. And okay, we know the science behind it. It's all interesting and everything else, but let's do the actual practice. Let's actually get into it. Now, as I say, meditation is about being still. It's about being quiet. It's about being mindful. But there is more to it. It's about the breathing. If you want to actually check the difference between the two, just sit quietly for 5 minutes and note down how you felt afterwards, what you were thinking of, if you were able to focus on one thing, or if you could let those thoughts go by, and just note down how it happened. Then the next one, incorporate breathing into it and see how more relaxed you become, how deeper it becomes. And you'll notice a huge shift, a huge difference between just being quiet and using breathing with it. I remember years ago when people were talking about meditation and how to meditate, they never really got into the nitty-gritty of it, and how to actually do it. It was always just sit down cross-legged on the floor, put your hands in a certain mudra and start humming this or humming that, and that's it. And people would try it and they weren't sure if they were getting the mudra right or the humming, the mantras and the chants. So they weren't sure if they were doing it right, and they weren't really getting the effects that they think they're supposed to get. So they'd abandon it. But there was very little about the process of breathing and the breathing techniques. Yes, obviously, if you're going through more advanced practices and teachings and things like that, that would obviously come into it. But the base stuff that you would get on the internet and in books was quite basic. It was really quite basic. And there was also this thing which I see has now changed a lot. The whole thing of making your mind blank. That's how it was used to be taught, is you need to empty your mind and make your mind blank. And honestly, I made a DVD years back, a DVD about meditation and breath technique and demonstrations. And the one thing I did put in there was that you cannot make your mind blank. You cannot empty your mind. It's impossible. At any one time, it's called the 7 ± 2 rule. So at any one time, you have 7 thoughts in your head. When you're in an active state, you have up to 9 thoughts. And when you're in a very passive state, you have as little as 5 thoughts. But you've always got these thoughts in your head. And there's always one that you focus on, and then it shifts to the next one that you focus on. But you've got all these thoughts in your head. You can't get rid of them. It's impossible. It's just how your brain works. It's how your mind works. So accept it. Get over it. This is what it's like. So what people then started to teach was that you don't empty your mind. You let the thoughts just drift by. And that's what a lot of people I see now are actually teaching. So that's a good thing. So the whole thing there is that as you are being still and you're doing your breathing, a thought may come into your head and you'll start focusing on it. You'll start thinking about it, like, what shall I have for dinner tonight? oh, I need to send that email. This is what I'm going to write in it. This is what I'm going to say to this person at the meeting. And so these thoughts, you latch onto them. And then you start thinking about it. You start developing the thought further and further and further. So when that happens, just recognize it. Don't blame yourself for doing it, because you're going to keep doing it. Don't blame yourself. Just let it happen. Just recognize that you're doing it, and then just let it go. There was a good analogy I read about years ago. It was about imagining that your mind is a book, and each page is a thought. And as you turn a page, you start reading it, you start focusing on it. You recognize that you're focusing on it, and then you just let your mind go to the next page and drift over the page, turn the page. Just let your mind drift over the next page, onto the next page, and continue through the book. Just let your mind drift. Don't focus on the words. Just let your mind carry on, and let the thoughts just flow through. So that's the whole thing. You just don't focus on thoughts. Don't latch onto them. When you do, move on. Just let it go. Just let it drift by. Gently, not forcefully, just gently, just let it go. And these thoughts will just keep coming, and all you do is just, as they come, you just let it go. Like a film strip coming through your head and out the other side and going off. So as the film strip comes in, each little frame is a thought. It comes in, you don't stop it, you just let it carry on. And the whole film strip just carries on and on and on, and you don't focus on a single frame. So that's the other thing. So how do you meditate? Well, let's actually get into, have you got the time? Yes, you do have the time. If you have 5 minutes, you have the time. Just do it for 5 minutes. Even just do it for 2 minutes. Set little mini goals. So do it for 2 minutes, or set your schedule for 2 minutes, and you'll probably find that you'll carry on for a little bit longer. But set your schedule, your goal, for 2 minutes. And once you've accomplished that 2 minutes, you will feel that sense of accomplishment, and you'll do it again the next day. And then obviously, if you want to do it a bit longer, that's fine. Just carry on. Don't stop. Just carry on until you're ready to actually stop and carry on with the rest of your day. So 5 minutes. Have you got 5 minutes? Everybody's got 5 minutes. As I say, just set your alarm clock 5 minutes early. You'll probably find something else to do in those 5 minutes, but you just got to be dedicated. You've got to be strict with yourself. If you want to grab the benefits of something, you've got to be strict with yourself, and you've got to make sure you make it your daily practice. Nobody else can do that for you. You've got to do it yourself. So, have you got the time? Yes, you do. Simple as that. So, how do you meditate? Can you meditate? I've met a lot of people who thought that they couldn't meditate because they can't sit still for long enough. There's a lot of different forms of meditation, and you'll find that with breathing techniques, that all starts to sort of fade away. When you're using proper breathing techniques, you will find that you'll be able to sit for a longer period of time without getting too fidgety and needing to get up and do something. I know, because that's me. So you can meditate, and meditation is actually really easy. There are different techniques. There are different breathing techniques. You can even go and take a walk and meditate. You can meditate while you are walking. So really, everybody can find a way to meditate. And if you do find a particular technique difficult, and you can't stick with it, and you need to get up and move, or you need to do this and whatever, you just try another technique. That's all you need to do. So the basic meditation, and this is the one that you'll find basically everybody's talking about. All you do is just sit down. Your back needs to be straight. Now, I don't like sitting on the floor myself. I'm a Western person. I'm not an Eastern person. I don't believe my body was created to go into full lotus position. My legs are not that flexible. Very sorry. So when I actually met Jacobus, you'll hear me mention Jacobus lots and lots in these videos. When I met Jacobus, he just made me sit in an upright chair with no arms, and that's where we practiced, and that's how we did the meditations, and all the practices was in a chair. All right, so with meditation, as I say, just sit down. Now find a chair. Don't lie down because you'll probably fall asleep. So find a chair with an upright back. I'm using a dining room chair. These are great for meditation. A dining room chair or a garden chair. Just make sure you've got one without any arms, because what you'll find is when you put your hands on your legs, the arms kind of start getting in the way and you're sitting like this. So get a chair that has an upright back that you can put your ass right back in it and your back straight. Your spine should be straight. It's just one of those things in all meditation practices. Your spine should be straight. Unless, of course, you're using death postures. That's a completely different thing, and we're not even going to go there in this video. So, back upright, feet planted firmly on the ground. Put your hands on your thighs. Got it? That's simple enough. Now, your hands, the way I was taught by Jacobus was palms down on your thighs. A lot of practices, a lot of people, especially more Eastern orientated practitioners, have their hands up. It's a nice representation. I do this when I'm doing manifestation work, so my hands are upright or palms up, and it's a representation of just energy coming down from above and coming into your palms. So you're receiving, and receiving is a very good thing. Right, so for this, we're just going to put, this is just meditation. We're not doing manifestation now, or law of attraction or anything like that. So just take your palms, put them on your thighs. Okay, back upright, feet planted on the ground, and that's almost it. So you close your eyes and just surrender yourself. Let your body kind of feel quite heavy without doing this. Don't let your back fall down because you're so heavy you can't keep yourself up and gravity's pulling you down. Just surrender and just let your body be pulled and feel a little bit heavier. And just relax your shoulders. Move your neck around a bit if you want to. Just get rid of that tight. Oh my God, I'm almost tight. Right, so just get into the position. If you've got any itches at this stage on your face, on your back, I've got one on my back, just give them a good scratch. Because when you're in a deep meditation state, you don't want to actually start scratching yourself and moving around, because then it just breaks the whole deep trance. So just get nice and settled. And then what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in. And I'm going to go into the complete breath in my next video, which will just be for patrons of one of my tiers. The basic complete breath is that you breathe in into the stomach, or the lower section of the lungs, the middle section, and the upper section. So as you breathe in, just pull your stomach in, and then inhale. And as you inhale, you push your stomach out, and then your ribs out, and then your chest out. So that's the complete breath. Stomach, ribs, chest. So you pull it in. So you breathe in. That's a complete breath. It's filling your lungs completely. The actual practice of complete breath meditation or complete breath technique is a little bit different. You breathe into. I'm not going to go into that now. Okay, so basic, simple stuff here. All right, so you can do that. You can do the complete breath, or you can just stomach breathe. So all you do is you breathe in and you let your stomach pull out. It's almost like as your stomach expands, that it's drawing the air in, and then when the stomach contracts, you're pushing the air back out again. My dogs are being a bit funny at the moment. Who's growling around the corner there? Okay, now you can also breathe in through your nose or through your mouth or through both. Again, different people, different practices, different techniques. Choose the one that feels better for you. I tend to breathe in through my mouth because it's the way I was taught. Especially when we get into more Kabbalistic breathing techniques, which I will be showing you in this video. We'll be going through the mother breath. Because then you need to actually, I wouldn't say vocalize, but yes, it is vocalizing, but it's more of a whisper, but you need to use your vocal cord. So you do tend to use your breath or your mouth for breathing a lot more than other people and techniques where they use only their nose. For instance, if you were practicing Buddhism, one technique is that you breathe in through your nose and you focus on the tip of your nose. Or you focus on the breath going in and coming out, but it's always through your nose, and that's where you keep your focus instead of the thoughts that you latch onto. You just keep your focus on a particular thing, which helps you through the meditation. So I tend to breathe through my mouth. So that's about it. That's all you really need to know. So let's do a couple breaths. Just so you know what I'm talking about and I'm not talking absolute trash. So close your eyes, let your breath out, and then breathe in and just expand your stomach. Just pause for a second and then let it out. Push the air out with your stomach. And then pause, and then breathe in. Pause, breathe out. Pause, breathe in. Pause, breathe out. And all the while, letting your stomach expand and contract. Pulling in the air, pushing the air out, almost like a bellows. You know those bellows you make the fire big with. And that's basically it. Now, one thing I do want to mention is the pause between the breaths, the inhale and the exhale. When you're not doing any advanced breathing techniques, after you inhale, just give a second for a pause, and then exhale again, and then pause. A lot of people say hold your breath. Don't hold your breath, just pause. Just let it rest. So don't hold your breath. Just pause and just let it rest. So on the exhale, what you can do is pause for as long as you want to. There's no time parameters. And then when you need to take the next breath, then you inhale. Pause for a second, exhale, and then pause for as long as you want to. Just let it be natural. And that's meditation. It's really not that difficult. If you're doing it for 5 minutes, it's not a long time. Just do it for 2 minutes. If you can't handle 5 minutes, just start with 2 minutes and expand from there. Now what I want to show you is a breathing technique called the mother breath, which is something, actually it's the first thing that Jacobus taught me when I started practicing with him. So the mother breath works with the three elements, air, water and fire. And these three elements are represented by the three Hebrew letters Aleph, Mem and Shin. Now one of the reasons I was told that it's called the mother breath is because it's the sounds that mothers make to their newborn babies to soothe them. And the technique itself is extremely soothing, it's extremely balancing and very relaxing. And what you basically do is you imagine yourself in a body of water. It's the easiest way to do it. Just imagine yourself in a body of water. This water is universal energy, and it's called avir in Hebrew. And this universal energy force you want to bring into your body. And the way you do that, so you're sitting in this body of water, it's just an expansive sea of water, and you actually pull it in through your anus. I know that sounds rude, but you know, we're all adults around here, so let's not be too coy about it. So you breathe in and you pull it through your anus, up through your body, into your head. And then that's air. And then you bring it in and you have water and you have fire, and the air bridges between the two so that they don't cancel each other out. And then you breathe it out back into the expanse. And as it comes in, it becomes, the avir is like unformed energy. And when it comes in, it becomes ruchaniyut, which is formed energy. And it's the body, the energy or the body, the energy body that we have, and the material aspect of it. So you breathe in using Ah, which is for Aleph, and then it comes into your head, and then you have for Mem, and then Sh for Shin, and then you push that back out again. The other nice representation of the sounds is that it's like the sea, like being at the sea. So you have this ah sound as the waves coming in, and then it crashes and goes and then shh as it goes back out again. I think it's quite nice. I like that representation myself. But anyway, all right, so let's do this. So back upright, feet planted on the ground, palms on thighs, and close your eyes. Imagine that you're in this big expanse of water. It's sort of up to your waist, to your waistline. And then let the breath out. And then as you breathe in, you're going to breathe in Ah. And you're going to let the water come in through your anus. Don't clench your backside. Don't clench your anus, your sphincter. Just relax your anus so that you can pull it in. The energy pulls in through your anus, into your body, into your head. And then we're going to go and shh and let the water or the energy back out again. So if you just want to watch me with the first one, that's fine. And then I'll do a couple more and you can go along with me and then just carry on from there if you like. So. And then after you finish the exhale, just pause and then start the next cycle. And then pause and breathe. pause after the exhale, and then continue from there. So I'm going to let you do that by yourself. That's the basic practice of the mother breath. And I'm going to end this video here now. The reason I wanted to do this video, even though everybody's always talking about meditation, everybody's talking about meditation now, and how to do it. The reason I wanted to actually do this because it's going to form the basis of a lot of the other videos that I'm going to be looking at in the future. Especially on my Patreon page. If you'd like to actually check out my Patreon page, link will be in the description below. But in the entrepreneur tier, I will be going into the complete breath, because it's the complete breath is excellent for deeper relaxation. You can definitely get into a deep state and a tranquil state with the complete breath. It's actually quite excellent. I really enjoy the complete breath myself. And then in the magician tier, I'm going to be going into the advanced mother breath. It might not be for everybody, so that's why I want to separate them. So for business owners, if you just want to do meditation and do some good breathing techniques, then watch the complete breath video. If you're more spiritually inclined and want to actually check out the more advanced practices on a spiritual and esoteric level, then I'll be going into the advanced mother breath. I'll also be obviously putting the complete breath in that tier because it forms part of that tier. And then obviously, if you like both, if you prefer both aspects, I have the manifesting entrepreneur. The magical entrepreneur, where all the videos, all the content on my Patreon page is available in that tier. So you can get the business aspect, you can also get the esoteric aspect and spiritual side of everything. And yes, so that's me. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Well, I won't see you, you'll see me, because it's me on the video, and you know what I mean. Okay, cheers.